Summer pickup basketball is a staple of every offseason in Chapel Hill. Now, what if you were drafting your dream summer pickup team to get the fellas ready for the upcoming season? Who would you pick and why?
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, it's Friday, August 4th, 2023. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade, and as I told you yesterday, for the second day in a row, we are joined by our guy, Coach Pac Kilby, fresh off playing some pickup of his own with his high school boys. Great stuff there. We want to thank you for making Locked On Tar Heels your first listen or watch every single day. Y'all, this is about to be a fun episode. We had a listener question. This was a while ago from our guy Jonathan Fox, JC Fox on Twitter, and he sends this. UNPAC draft the ideal summer pickup team to whip the boys into shape. Once we know the team's makeup by this summer is when we'll do it. And so now at this point, we've got a conco. We kind of feel like we know where things are at, and it's a safe time to have this. So he goes on to say, Jonathan does, who do you want coming to the Hill to work out with the team, and what lessons are you wanting them to hammer home? So, Pac, I love this concept. I love this idea, and I'm excited to kick your butt in drafting a better team than you. And I also love it because it's not just looking at who is the most talented group of players we could bring in to play against the Tar Heels, but it's who is the team that we could bring in who would be very talented to play against them, but also would give them lessons and learning and training that they need to be ready for the season. So I think it's a super fun exercise, So here's what Pac and I are going to do. Here's the parameters of what we're going to draft. We're each going to take 5 starters, and we can pick those in any order. You could go point guard first or center, whatever you want to do. And then after that, we're each going to take 2 bench players and a coach. Could be anybody. Doesn't have to be somebody that's been a head coach of North Carolina, but they all have to be Carolina alums. That's the kicker. And once we get to the 2 bench players and the coach, same thing. You can go in any order you want there. You could take your coach first. You could go 2 bench players first, whatever. And so we're going to start with Pac. Pac has the first pick because I'm a nice friend and I want to let him try to see if he can have a better team than me. So Pac, let's get it going. Who are you taking with the first pick of our summer pickup draft?
Well, you know, my thing is with my first pick, I wanted to look and see what to me is Carolina basketball and who can help instill that. And to me, that's transition. And I think nobody represents that better than my guy, Ed Cadeau. So I'm going with him.
I hate you. Are you kidding me right now?
now?
No. I thought for sure I was going to get my Ed Cadeau pick. Pac. That's
I was leaning towards Ty Lawson early, but he does a lot off the dribble. And when I think of Carolina transition, I think of kicking it ahead, facilitating, just being an all-around true point guard. And to me, that's Ed Cadeau. So I had to go with him.
Man, that's so good. And I think Ed would be so good for getting Elliot prepared for the year just because of everything Ed can do. I mean, literally the only player in NCAA history with 1,000 points, 1,000 assists, and 500 rebounds. I mean, that's insane to me, Pac. That's a great choice. I respect it, but I'm still very mad at you. All right. Well, then I got to go make sure I get this dude so that you don't snag him, because I'm guessing it's who you would have next. The first guy on my draft board, give me Tyler Hansbrough. When you just talked about who epitomizes Carolina basketball, and this is the dude for me. He's got the Rudy-sized heart inside the body of a guy really good at the sport he plays. So it's the Rudy factor, but with talent. And when I specifically think about summer pickup basketball, Tyler ain't taking a possession off. This dude, even in the summer, we hear it all the time. He's bringing it. He's getting the guys ready and like confused and mad and angry when they don't match his intensity level. So give me Tyler Hansbrough to start my team.
Well, since you took T. Hansbrough, I'm going to go ahead and take the only big that I love more than Tyler Hansbrough, and that's Sean May.
He was my second choice. Yep.
The thing I like about Sean is he provides that rim running presence, but man, that just the way he can play physical, he can rebound, he finished around the rim, had a soft touch. Just he was phenomenal. And when you think of Carolina, at least when I do, I think transition, and then I think big guys that are dominant. And that's Sean May and that's Tyler Hansbrough. So I got to go with Sean May as my second pick.
Okay. Then listen, I'm going big again, Pac. This is my one, like, outside of Tyler, this is my one, like, yeah, no brainer. Since you're going Ed and Sean May, my shooting guard, the greatest of all time, the best to ever do it, Michael Jordan in his prime. Although I think he could probably still go do it against him today. But here's like, it's not just because it's Michael. He's so good. But specifically the two words I put on it are swagger and smack, because Michael Jordan, just the way he carries himself, I think would be a way that he would let the guys know, like, hey, you got to have confidence and bravado. And then in terms of smack, I mean, we've heard all the tales of what a trash talker he is. And I think there are just some cool things that MJ would teach the guys about, like, how to just like light into people and like take their lunch money and run home and not let them I don't know, like, I just think there's so many good lessons that the greatest of all time could instill in this team. So Tyler Hansbrough 1 and give me Michael Jordan 2.
All right. So pick number 3 for me, I'm going to go ahead and draft my power forward, and that's going to be Antawn Jamison.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite Tar Heels. And the thing I like about him is he kind of fits more of the new age game at the 4, because he is so athletic and he can stretch the floor and he can do a lot of different things. That would, to me, he would be a great mentor for like Harrison Ingram and Jalen Withers and those guys that are going to be playing that new age 4. And I mean, he was ahead of the game in a sense in the way he played. So I'm going to take Antawn. I'm going to stick him at the 4.
I like that a lot. That's a great call. Then I'm going to go to power forward 2, although I wonder if I should go small forward. So no, I've got 2 guys I both really like at small forward, so I don't care who you take because I'm going to get the other one. I'm going to go power forward 2. Give me Billy Cunningham as my power forward, and here's why. The word I put on it is consistency. This dude holds the NCAA record for consecutive double-doubles with 40. Pac, his career numbers, like, just wrap your head around this. Billy Cunningham averaged 24.8 points and 15.4 rebounds for his career. That is absolutely wild. And I think it's so important for these guys to just see that level of consistency and be able to hear from him the types of things that he did to allow him to reach that level of, like, I'm going to bring it night in and night out. So give me Billy Cunningham as my power forward.
Okay. I like that.
Which means I'm putting Hansbrough at the 5, by the way, I guess.
Yeah. That's sticking to some traditional Carolina basketball right there. I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take my small forward, and I'm going to shock you a little bit with this one because I think there's maybe some players that are better, but I love what this guy brings. I'm taking Theo Pinson.
Oh.
As far as just a summer draft and who do I want investing in our guys, it's Theo. And I think he could be so beneficial. And he's a lot like Hansbrough to me in the fact that he has that mentality of he'll do whatever it takes to win. He brings the intensity. He's a great teammate, pick-me-up guy. I think there's a lot to learn from him. And he's pretty dang skilled too. So I'll take him and stick him at the 3.
I like that. I had thought about Theo. I had him as one of my potential bench guys. So I guess I'll have to look elsewhere for that. I'm also going to go to my small forward, and I think this might surprise you as well. I want Danny Green as my small forward. I'm going to put him at the 3. And for me, the reason was because I said wiliness and winning. I guess I'm going really alliterative today. I had swagger and smack with MJ. Give me Danny Green, wiliness and winning. He has more wins than any other Tar Heel ever. And so there's just something about that winning mentality that he brought both at Carolina and obviously at the NBA level that he can teach the guys. But I also said wiliness, because when you look at Danny Green, like I swear this is not true, but I watch him run and I'm like, I think I could run faster than Danny Green. And yet somehow he's out there with world-class athletes filling out the stat sheet night after night after night. And so I just think there's all of that capability that Danny could bring, specifically with somebody like Harrison Ingram that we talked about yesterday on the show that could really fill it out. So I want Danny right there. All right, now, Pac, we've each got one more starter we get to pick. Looks like you probably need a shooting guard. Yeah, and I still need a point guard. So we're going to keep everyone in suspense. We'll get back to that in just a second. But before we hit it, I need to tell you that today's episode of Locked on Tar Heels is brought to you by FanDuel. Take your first swing at betting Major League Baseball on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 and you're going to land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting everything from the money line to over-unders to who you think is going to hit the first home run in a game. All of this comes on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get up to $200 in bonus bets. Again, that's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. All right, Coach Pac Kilby, Isaac Schade with you today on Locked on Tar Heels. We're drafting our ideal summer league pickup team to go against the guys and give them certain skills. Here's who Pac has so far in his starting lineup: Ed Cota, Sean May, Anton Jameson, and Theo Pinson. I've got Tyler Hansbrough, Michael Jordan, Billy Cunningham, and Danny Green. As Pac just said, he needs a shooting guard. Pac Kilby, who you taking?
Vince Carter. The resume speaks for itself.
Yep.
The inventor of so many crazy dunks, great in transition, stretch the floor. He does it all. Defensively brings the intensity. Think he'd be, somebody you just love to have around the campus. You talk about bringing the swagger and somebody guys want to be around. So I got to go with Vince.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. It was between he and Danny for my small forward, and then I was going to take Vince off the bench. So, all right, fine. All right. I need a point guard, and Pac, I've gone back and forth on this. Like, same reason with Ed Cota. I thought about Kendall Marshall just because of, we talk about Elliot as being this great passer, and I think there's so much that he could learn from Kendall. I thought about Joel Berry. Maybe I'd take those guys off the bench if you don't. But I'm going to go with Ty Lawson, and here's why. You and I have been begging Carolina to get back to playing at the pace and speed that they have. And for me, nobody embodies that more than Ty, who just in a blur was by you. I need this team to see just how fast they have to play to do what they need to do. And I know that Coach Davis isn't trying to get them to go at warp speed like Coach Williams did, but I just want them to understand exactly what it takes to lead an offense at the pace that Ty can do. The ability to really fully know when to pass and shoot. I mean, his numbers were insane. So I want Ty Lawson because of road runner capability as my point guard.
Okay. Well,
that rounds up. So that rounds out our starting five. So now Pac and I are each going to draft 2 bench guys and a coach for our summer team. Again, it could be any order. Don't have to go bench, then coach. So Pac, where are you going with your five?
I'm going coach. And
okay.
I'm going with my GOAT, which is Roy Williams. There's nobody I want more than Roy coaching that squad, getting them in transition. I would love to see what he did offensively with Sean May and Anton Jameson in that 4 or 5 spot. Woo. Ed Cota running the point. Yeah, I'm going Roy all day.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. I can't fault you for that. Well, since you've got your coach, then I'm going to save that for my last pick because I can take whoever in the heck I want for that. So I'm going to take my first bench. Boy, I've been battling back and forth. It's kind of almost a no-brainer because it's the guy that coached the team this summer, but I want Marcus Page. And the word I put on it, the reason for it is accountability. One of the things that happened last year is that the current team did not play up to Carolina standards in terms of their play or their heart in the summer. And all the reports we got were that Marcus was the one calling them to task. And that's, this summer, by all accounts, they've been playing harder, caring about it more. But I just think he's the type of guy who not only has the skill set to show them what it takes to hit the most ridiculous three-pointer in Carolina history on the biggest stage, but to also hold them accountable to what it takes in the summer to prepare yourself for the fall. So I'm going to take Marcus Page, now an assistant coach, as my first bench player.
All right. Well, I'm almost going to copycat that pick, but I'm going to go with Joel Berry.
Yeah.
I think he's, for a lot of the same reasons you just said, he's got that mentality that he's kind of a bulldog in a sense, just, the way he played. He will call guys on their stuff. He can teach guys how to compete, play in and play out. And just, I love what he brings. And I think, you talk about a bench role, he would be a spark plug off the bench for a team. So I would definitely go with Joel Berry right there.
I love it. Okay. I've got one more bench pick and I'm battling between two guys and they're completely different guys. So it's tough to decide. And I don't want to, well, I guess it doesn't matter because I don't have any more player picks after this. So I'll just say who I'm going between. It's either Luke May or Harrison Barnes. And that is a tough call. And you might even be thinking about one of those for your next pick. The reaction you just gave me leads me to believe you might be. So I hope I steal whoever you're leaning towards. I want Luke May. Ha! You hung your head. That's who you were going with. I love it. Yes. And here's why here's the word I put on Luke is every day. And I don't mean that in the consistency that I chose Billy Cunningham with. I mean it because he's an everyday guy. I think as we get more and more professionalized in college athletics, there's just something that Luke represents with how he comports himself, with who he is, with the level of just, I'm just a dude, hanging out, and the classic story of being in class the morning after the Kentucky shot. I just think he can remind these guys of like, hey, listen, what you get to do isn't something that everyone on the face of the planet gets to do and be a part of. And so cherish this, honor it. I think he can also help, embody that thing that Coach Davis is always trying to get across of, I want guys who want to be here and be part of this. And man, the May family in its entirety is the quintessential version of that. So give me Luke May. I just stole out of your clutches.
All right. Well, since we do have a Hall of Famer left in James Worthy, I think I'll go with him.
Yes. I love it.
I think I'll go with him. And golly, the experience that he could bring to the table and just the veteranness that he experienced, how good he was and how he could kind of play the 5, he could play the 4, he could do a lot of things. And he was a little bit ahead of his time with the way he played. Yeah. He would be, a great mentor for our team and obviously talented competition to go up against. So I'm definitely going to snag that Hall of Famer, James Worthy, and put him on my squad.
That's not the worst choice you could have ever come up with there, Pac. I love it. And yeah, very much had him on my list. And what an embarrassment of riches the Tar Heels have that we're leaving NBA champions on the table. Like I mentioned, Harrison Barnes, neither of us have him, and all sorts of phenomenal basketball players. Just a great reminder of the joy that it is to be a Carolina basketball fan. Now, I've got one pick with my coach. You've taken Roy Williams. So I know I said you could take anybody, but how could I not but take Dean Smith? I mean, it might be, given what's left on the board, the biggest no-brainer of all time. The godfather of Carolina basketball, according to the shirt that Creighton Lebo was wearing at the Outer Banks a couple weeks ago. I love everything about what how you talk about being ahead of his time. This man was talking about points per possession back in like the 70s and 80s. And so, I mean, it's just ridiculous. You think about who he taught the guys to be off the court. You think about what a phenomenal on-court coach he was, the way he would help teams pull miracles out of a hat. Give me Dean Smith to coach my team. So let me run back these full teams. I'm going to go in the order with which we took them. For his starters, Pac has Ed Cota, Sean May, Antoine Jameson, Theo Pinson, and Vince Carter. Good grief. That's insane. As his coach, Roy Williams, and on the bench, Joel Berry and James Worthy. And again, it's not just about what these dudes do on the court, but the specifics of what they can teach the guys in the summer. But give me that team any day of the week, just from a pure basketball standpoint. As for mine, I have Tyler Hansbrough, Michael Jordan, Billy Cunningham, Danny Green, and Ty Lawson. Yeah, I'll take that as well. My bench guys are Marcus Page and Luke May, and then Dean Smith as the coach. Wow, Pac. It's wild to think about this. And I love that we have guys from some different generations and eras. And boy, it will be a lot of fun. Now, here's the other part of this conversation that I want to have as we get out of here, because Jonathan's question is so good and so important. That was the seed idea for this show. Why exactly is summer so important? What can it help do to prepare a team for the upcoming fall? We're going to have an Unpacking It segment today as we look into that. We'll get into that in just a second. All right, Pac Kilby, joining you today 2 days in a row. And Pac, I want to just give you the floor to unpack it with one of my favorite segments to be able to do is let you just go on it as a coach. From reports from guys like Adam Lucas this summer, we've heard that the guys have been more serious about pickup than perhaps they were last year. There was competitiveness in the camp games during basketball camp. We talked earlier about Marcus Page getting after everyone last summer and then how that's translated this year. So, Pac, from your experience, I mean, literally, we said it earlier, you are coming to sit down from this after playing pickup with some of your own players at your school. From what you've experienced from summer work with your own teams, unpack for us the importance of summer pickup.
Well, it's a lot. It means a lot, honestly. It's honestly a lot less to do with just actual basketball and more to do with the culture. And we like to have alumni come back. We have at our school a great tradition of success, a lot like Carolina. And the reason it's so important is because it helps protect the culture. And when you start to bridge that gap between guys that have been successful versus guys that want to be successful, or versus guys that are coming up through the program, it helps drive them to want to meet that success. And then, the guys that have been successful, they know how to get there. They know what it takes. They know what you have to do, the preparation that goes into it, stuff that takes place that's not even on the basketball court. They can instill that in the guys that are coming up. And so if I had to just say it in 3 words, it's protect the culture. That's exactly what it does. It protects the culture. And it's just so important to have that. But then, you start to look at it on the court and you go, okay, Theo Pinson comes back a lot, or Tyler Hansbrough. You've got these guys just teaching them little nuggets here and there while they're playing basketball. These are the guys that have played at the very highest level for multiple years. And just the things you learn from doing that are incredible. And it can be the littlest things about, hey, go ahead and position your body this way when you see the shot coming off the back of the iron, because it's going to put you in better position to offensive rebound right here, or take your man this way and then boom, seal him. It's these little things that they can teach that you may not ever hear in practice because it's more X's and O's based or more individual skill development based. But this is actual little nuances to the game that these guys are learning at the highest level and investing in our players, which is it's huge for growth, development, IQ, and like I said before, protecting the culture.
Yeah. I love that phrase, protect the culture. I think we need to start using that more often and more consistently. Let's make that a staple of our show here. And Pac, something you've said in the past about like what Marcus Page brings back is not only are guys able to teach all these things, but it's like teaching things that they're learning from literally all over the world, whether it's NBA or leagues in Europe or Australia or wherever. Like there's this whole like corpus of knowledge that guys are able to bring. And I love that. Another question I want to ask about the importance of summer is why is it, or in what ways is it helpful for newcomers, whether it's in Carolina's case, the freshmen coming in like Zayden High and Elliot, or the group of transfers coming in, Harrison Ingram and Paxton Wojcik and all the other three guys. How do you see that as being helpful? Like, as you think about your high school team, maybe some freshmen that are upcoming, or if guys transfer into the district and start to learn what that culture is, why is summer so helpful for them?
Well, it's definitely helpful because it gives them a kind of a bridge. It bridges the gap between them being new and, hey, here's what our culture is. Here's how we do things. Here's how we operate. It's basically one big class. You get to learn this is what we do and this is how we do it. And so that's really important. And especially with younger guys like for us, and I'm sure it's this way at Carolina when they get there, you want to set the tone early.
Yeah.
And that helps do that. That helps set the tone for how we do things and why we do things the way we do. And when you have that and when you're able to set that tone and guys are able to pick up on that and learn from that and grow from that, then that's when you've got a program, that can really grow and develop. And then when they get older and they grow into that program, they're investing in the new guys and it just keeps turning itself over. I'm sorry if you hear that loud thud. My office is right below the weight room here, so we got guys up there lifting.
That's hilarious. I love it. Just a little bit, not too bad at all. Well, Pac, that leads me to the most important question of the day. As we've said a couple times, you just came from playing some pickup with those guys. How badly did you beat them?
Record of 6-1 on the day. So
come on,
yeah.
Come on.
I'm gonna go home and think about that one loss, though. That can't happen.
Oh no, you got to clean up that record next time, my friend. You better bring it. I'll settle for nothing less than undefeated. So we'll check back in next time. Man, what a fun episode, Pac. This has been so cool to do. I'm curious to hear from you folks. Who would you go with? Maybe some guys that we picked, some guys we didn't pick. Would love for you to share with us who you would take as your 5 starters and bench guys and coach. That does it for today's episode of Locked On Tar Heels. That does it for this week on Locked On Tar Heels. Been so good to be together as always. Can't wait for another good week next week. Make sure you tune back in with us, whether you're an everydayer or whether you're someone just checking in for the first time. You can follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Heels. Follow me at Isaac Schade, and of course, follow Pac at Coach_K23. You can email the show lockedontarheels@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe on any audio platform you listen to podcasts or on YouTube if you're watching. Also, smash the like button so we know you were here. As we said, leave some comments. It's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll be back with you next week. Hope you have a great weekend. But until then, we'll let Pat Kilby recover from his basketball today, and we'll talk to you then. Peace out.